Hey guys, it's Alpha, and in today's video we're going to be learning how to do crafting recipes and smelting recipes in MCreator. So to get started, we're going to open up MCreator and open up our mod workspace. And here we have the items and blocks that we made in parts 1 and 2. And today we're going to be going over to recipes. So just here, recipe. And this will be the recipes to create certain items with crafting, smelting, brewing you can do in here. All sort of like, recipes for things is under the recipe tab, basically. So we can start off with turning tin ore into tin ingots by smelting. So we can say tin ingot smelting from ore. We're going to create recipe. So the recipe type is smelting. We can also do blasting, but we'll start off with smelting. So then what we're going to do is the ingredient is going to be tin ore, not raw tin, but tin ore, because raw tin is a different recipe we're going to make. So use selected, and then what that will create is 1 tin ingot, like so. And then it's automatically, grabbed the item that's being smelted and said, this is the item that unlocks the recipe. Cooking time by default is 200 ticks, so that's 10 seconds. I would leave it as that because, most things are going to be that. And then when we do the blasting recipe in the blasting furnace, obviously we'll put that to 100 ticks, so half the time, because the blasting furnace smelts twice as quickly as the regular furnace. So nothing else in here we really need to change. So misc food and blocks. Obviously this isn't food or blocks. I suppose it is a block, but it's not coming out as a block afterwards. I suppose block is something like turning sand into glass. I would say this is more appropriate for the misc category. And an XP reward, I'm sure you can understand what that is. Some things when you smelt them will give XP when you take it out of the output slot. I'm just going to leave this as probably 0. You don't get XP for this. Actually, just 1. Cause I'm just gonna leave it as 1, the default amount. Yeah. So the tin ingot smelting from ore is done. Now we can add a new one. Tin ingot smelting from raw tin, like so. So then we're going to go smelting, and then in here is going to be raw tin rather than tin ore, and that's obviously going to become tin ingot as well. So it's the same deal, cooking time 200 ticks, XP reward 1, so nothing else really is changing there. And that one's done. And then we can do the blasting recipes, so tin ingot blasting from ore. So this one's going to be blasting. And then up here, we're going to put the ore and the ingot. And then, as you can see here, the cooking time is already set to 100 ticks, which is half the time it takes in a regular furnace. And then we're going to do the same thing for tin ingot blasting from raw tin. Then we're going to set that to blasting again. And then raw tin. And tin ingot, like so. So that's all done. So the smelting and blasting is done. And now we're going to do the crafting recipes. So if we go to recipe, so we can do tin ingot from block, like so. And then this will be how to craft a tin ingot from a tin block, like so. So when you turn 1 tin block into ingots, you're going to get 9 tin ingots, like so. So you can change the amount that you get just there. And recipe or item that unlocks this recipe will be tin block. And then we can save that one. And we can move on to the next one. Tin ingot from nuggets, like so. And then what we're going to do is do tin nugget. And then we're going to click and drag this to fill the whole crafting grid. And then put tin ingot in there. And we can press shapeless, although it doesn't really matter because you're filling up the entire grid anyway. But yeah, 9 tin nuggets will make 1 tin ingot, and the recipe that unlocks that is obviously going to be tin nuggets. And then we can make the vice versa recipes, so tin nugget crafting. So 1 ingot becomes 9 nuggets. Like so. And then the recipe unlocks from tin ingots. Save. Recipe tin block crafting. Lovely. And then we're going to do tin ingot and then click and drag that to fill the whole crafting grid. And then the output will be a tin block. And you'll just get 1. And once again, tin ingot unlocks that one. And then we've also got a raw tin block. So raw tin block crafting. And then that one's going to be 9 raw tin. Turns into the raw tin block. And then raw tin will unlock that recipe. And then the final one would be raw tin crafting. Like so. And that will be raw tin block, shapeless, turns into 9 raw tin. Like so. And the item that unlocks that is raw tin block. Lovely. So now we've done all of our crafting recipes, we can now launch the game and check that all these recipes work. So now that we've launched the game, we can go ahead and open a world. And in here we can get a crafting table out. Like so. And then I'll grab a bunch of recipe items that we need. I'll also grab a furnace and a blast furnace as well. So we will need those. Here we go. So what we can do is we can go into the furnace and it's already got some fuel in there. But if we put in a raw tin, that will take 10 seconds to turn into a tin ingot. And it will be the same in here, although it will take 5 seconds, twice as fast. So as you can see, this one's only just about to finish and this one's already finished. Like so. And then we can try with tin ore instead as well. And that will go very quickly in the blast furnace and not so quickly in the regular furnace. There we go. And that also gives us 1 XP from each smelt. And then in the crafting grid, we can turn 1 tin ingot into 9 tin nuggets, and then vice versa, 9 tin nuggets into 1 tin ingot. And then also the same for tin blocks. So 9 tin ingots into 1 tin block, and then 1 tin block into 9 tin ingots. And then if we want to use raw tin, we can turn that into a block of raw tin, and vice versa. So there we go. All of our recipes have been declared, and we've just tested that they all work as well. Obviously, there are other recipe types, such as brewing and other things like that, which we will go over in the future when we make custom potions and things like that. But that is everything for today, as we've covered the most common types of recipes, which will be crafting and smelting. And in next episode, we're going to be going over ore generation, so that our tin ore in the background just there is going to be generating naturally in your worlds. As always, if you do want to use the files and assets that I've created for this custom programming series, you can always join the channel as the File Access Club, and you will get access to all the files that I've used in this series. Alternatively, you can join as the exclusive access member and get the full file access, early access to videos, members only videos, priority reply to comments, and of course, shoutouts in the videos. Also, if you want to start your own Minecraft server that you can upload your own mods to, including your mod that you're creating in this series, you can click to this video just here, where you can create your own server. But that is absolutely everything for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.